There is one secret line, one silent phrase, one inner movement of the soul, that when understood and felt, has the power to turn the invisible into the visible, the unseen into the seen, the wish into its fulfillment. It is not a sentence you must shout into the world. It is not something you beg or plead for. It is a line you whisper not with your lips, but with your feeling, softly, silently, deeply. It is done. Yes, that is the line. That is the mystical sentence that, when felt as truth, rearranges the world to reflect it. It is done. Not it will be. Not I hope it happens. But it is done. Final. Complete, finished. The moment you can feel that your desire is already fulfilled, that the work is already complete in imagination, you will witness how the world bends itself to bring that state into form. You are not here to beg life to give you what you want. You are here to assume the state of already having it. You are not a beggar in this universe. You are the creator. And as creator, the only thing required of you is the assumption of the wish fulfilled. For when the assumption is complete, when you remain loyal to the feeling of its reality, the world cannot help but echo it. Now let us not confuse this sacred phrase, "it is done," with mere words. You can repeat these words 1,000 times, but if they are not accompanied by feeling, by conviction, by knowing, they are empty. It is not the word itself, but the consciousness behind it that creates. To say it is done is to dwell in the end. To say it is done is to stand at the conclusion of your desire and to look back on its journey as if it were already complete. This is the key, and it is simple but not always easy, because the senses will scream otherwise. The world of facts will tell you that nothing has changed. Your bank account may remain low. Your relationship may still appear broken. Your body may still ache. And yet you close your eyes, and in that sacred space, you dare to feel differently. You dare to accept what is not yet seen. You dare to say it is done. This is not delusion. It is creation. The world you see with your physical eyes is only the shadow cast by your inner state. If you wish to change the shadow, you must first change the source, the light within. And the light is your consciousness. What you accept as true, what you feel as real, will be projected onto the screen of space. So when you say it is done, you are not ignoring the facts. You are replacing them. You are choosing a new truth and making it your dwelling place. The secret of manifestation lies in this sacred inner act. Do not chase results. Do not ask when or how. These questions are the language of doubt. Instead, close the door. Withdraw from the senses. Enter into the silence and feel. Imagine that what you desire is already yours. Not in some future but now. How would you feel if it were done? What would your inner conversation be? How would you walk, speak, breathe, live? Answer these questions not with logic, but with emotion. Let the feeling of fulfillment take root in you. Let it fill you completely. Let it become your natural state. And when you emerge from that inner world, carry the fragrance of that feeling with you. Walk as one who already has it. Speak as one whose prayer is answered. Think as one whose dreams are reality. This is not pretense. It is faith. And faith, rightly understood, is assumption in action. It is done. These three words have built empires, healed bodies, drawn riches, and restored love. And yet, most walk past this secret every day. Why? Because they wait to see before they believe. But I tell you, belief must come first. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. To say it is done in the absence of proof, that is the creative act. That is the daring movement of the soul that calls things that are not as though they were. So you want to manifest a desire. Then ask yourself, can you truly say, it is done, and mean it? Can you close your eyes and feel the joy of having it now? Can you live from that end state, unmoved by appearances, and faithful only to the feeling of fulfillment? If you can, you will see your world change in ways so subtle, so perfect, that it will seem like magic. But it is not magic. It is law. Your assumption, when persisted in, hardens into fact. This is the law. This is the truth that Neville taught. The truth that mystics have always known, the truth that religions have veiled in symbolism. You are not at the mercy of the world, you are its author. Every scene, every player, every outcome is a reflection of your inner conversations and beliefs. Change them, and the world must change accordingly. But do not expect instant evidence. The seed needs time to root. Just as a farmer does not dig up the soil every day to check for the sprout, you must not uproot your desire with doubt. Plant the seed of it is done in the fertile soil of your imagination. Water it with feeling and protect it with silence. Then watch, quietly and faithfully, as it blossoms in due season. Oh, how sweet it is when it comes. When that thing you once felt in silence now stands before you in form. When your inner word becomes outer fact, you will smile, not with surprise, but with recognition, because you've already been there. You've already lived it. You simply walked the bridge of events, knowing that nothing could stop it, because you had already declared, it is done. This is the way of effortless creation. You do not need to force the world. You only need to select your desire. Feel it as real, and rest in the knowing that it is finished. Do not try to help it along. Do not try to manipulate people or circumstances. That is not your role. Your role is to create the inner scene, to feel its truth, and to remain loyal to it. Life will take care of the details. Now listen closely, because this is where many falter. They say, I assumed the wish fulfilled, but nothing happened. And I ask, did you truly feel it? Or did you merely daydream? Did you dwell in the end? Or did you visit it like a tourist? Did you remain faithful? Or did you let doubt, fear and appearances snatch the seed away? Creation is not a game of chance. It is a game of faithfulness. The longer you can sustain the feeling of it is done, the faster it appears. For some, the bridge of incidence is swift. For others, it winds. But the promise is certain. If you do not waver, if you do not dig up the seed, it must come. Let your imagination be your sacred space. That is where the true work is done. You are not required to hustle or strive. You are required only to believe. And belief, again, is not hoping. It is knowing. It is standing in the conviction that your inner world is more real than the outer. It is holding to your assumption, even when all facts deny it. It is done. Say it tonight before you sleep. Not with your mouth, but with your heart. Let the feeling of your wish fulfilled lull you into rest. Let it become your last thought before the subconscious takes over. For it is in that drowsy state that impressions are made, and the subconscious never fails to manifest what it accepts as true. In your waking hours, let your behavior mirror the assumption. Do not contradict your inner state with outer words. If you have claimed wealth, speak no more of lack. If you have claimed love, speak no more of loneliness. Let your thoughts, words and actions flow from the new identity. Become the version of you who already has it. Move in that spirit. Speak from that place. Think from that place. Above all, do not look for signs. They will come, yes, but not because you searched. They will come because they must. The moment you accept the end, the means unfold naturally. You do not need to chase the river. It flows on its own. Your only task is to enter the state, to claim it, and to dwell there. I have watched countless lives transformed by this one simple line. Men who were destitute now walk in abundance. Women who were heartbroken now bask in love. The sick have risen. The forgotten have triumphed, not through effort, but through inner alignment, through the sacred declaration. It is done. So I ask you now, what is your desire? Can you, in this moment, close your eyes and feel it done? Can you bypass the evidence, silence the senses, and claim your dream as real? Can you let go of the question how, and dwell in the joy of now? Then do it, right now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Breathe in the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel it in your bones. Let it live in your heart. And when you return to the world, carry that inner knowing like a treasure. Protect it. Nurture it. Let nothing steal it from you. When the world shifts, when the dream becomes real, when the desire becomes visible, remember this moment. Remember that it was not the world that changed first. It was you. You changed your assumption, and the world followed. This is the secret of all creation, and it is yours. Use it wisely. Use it boldly. Say it tonight. Say it with feeling. It is done. And then, simply watch. because everything you've ever wanted already exists. You only need to assume it, to feel it, and to live from it, and then you will see it. It is done. Now let the world prove it. And when it begins to unfold, perhaps first in whispers, in hints, in signs so subtle only the faithful recognize them, do not rush to analyze. Do not doubt your power. Instead, marvel at the precision of the universe, at the beautiful way in which your assumption calls forth the scenes, people, and moments necessary to fulfill itself. For every event, every conversation, every chance encounter, is simply a step on the bridge of incidents leading you from imagination to manifestation. But do not stand in the middle of the bridge and question the architecture. You cannot see the whole path from your vantage point. Your task is not to design the steps. It is to walk them, trusting that they will carry you to your end. Do not abandon your assumption just because the outer world appears unchanged. All transformation begins within, and the world will mirror your new state once it is fully accepted within. If you say it is done, but then look around with anxious eyes, asking, where is it? Why hasn't it come? You are contradicting your own decree. You cannot plant the seed, and then dig it up the next morning to check if it's growing. The soil of your mind must remain fertile with faith. Water it daily, with gratitude, with imagination, with the certainty that what you claimed is now forming. Feel it like you would feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Feel it with no need to explain, justify, or prove. The universe responds not to words but to vibration. And the vibration of it is done is pure, unwavering, final. It carries no doubt, no hesitation. It simply knows. When you assume the end, when you live in the end, you no longer chase anything. You no longer seek validation. You no longer fight reality. You rest. You relax. You receive. And this restful knowing, this peace that comes from feeling your desire already fulfilled, is the highest creative act. You'll notice too how the world begins to react differently to you. People may comment that you've changed, that you seem more confident, more radiant, more at ease, and they won't know why, but you will, because you've already seen the future in your mind, and now you're simply walking toward it, not with need, but with certainty. If obstacles come, let them. Do not be shaken. A storm may rage, but if the seed is protected, it will grow. Your state creates your world, not the other way around. So even if appearances seem to oppose you, remind yourself, it is done. Do not descend from the mountain of your assumption to wrestle with shadows. Remain at the summit. Dwell in the feeling of having received. Soon the outer world will yield. It must. It always does. And when it does, you'll realize something far greater than the manifestation itself. You'll realize who you are, that you were never the victim of fate, but its author, that you were never waiting on the world. It was always waiting on you. And from that knowing, you can create again, and again, and again. Because once you understand the power of it is done, you are no longer at the mercy of delay or denial. You are free. Free to choose, free to assume, free to live the life you have imagined in the quiet sanctuary of your heart. This is the art of living from the end. This is the secret line that turns all desire into reality. And now, beloved dreamer, it is your turn. Say it, feel it, believe it. It is done. When you say it is done, not as a ritual, not as a wish, but as a deep, calm, inner acceptance, a stillness takes over you, a silence that holds power, a peace that surpasses all external facts. It is in that silence that the new reality is born. For silence is not the absence of activity, but the presence of alignment. It is where the old man dies and the new man is born. You are no longer trying to become, you are. You no longer chase, you embody. And this embodiment is the true secret. You cannot fool consciousness. You cannot pretend halfway and expect a full reward. You must be bold enough to forsake what is, and embrace what could be as if it already is. This is the madness of the mystic and the genius of the creator. The world may laugh at you. Let them. They laughed at every innovator, every prophet, every soul who dared to see beyond the veil of the senses. But you will not be shaken, for you have tasted something far more real than facts. You have touched truth in imagination. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to ignite the law that governs all manifestation. It is a mystical transaction between the seen and the unseen. When you feel it real, the entire universe conspires to bring you the evidence of your inner conviction. You may never know how. You are not supposed to know. The how belongs to the wisdom of the infinite.
Your job is the what, and more importantly, the feeling of having it. Leave the orchestration to the divine intelligence that responds with unfailing accuracy to your assumption. So you go on in your day, with a calm boldness. You no longer feel desperation. You no longer seek. You no longer strive. You simply know. You know it is done because you have felt it. You know it is done because something deep inside you has shifted. You no longer identify as the one who desires, but as the one who has. The frequency of your being changes, and in that change your world mirrors the new identity.
You will see that the people around you begin to treat you differently. Opportunities arise out of nowhere. Circumstances shape themselves around your new assumption. Not by coincidence, but by law. The outer reflects the inner, always. And what you hold inside is true. What you nurture in the silence of your soul will echo into form with mathematical precision. This is the power you have had all along. This is the treasure hidden in the field. The line "it is done" is not just a sentence. It is a state of acceptance, a state of certainty, a state of embodiment. And the moment you abide in that state, without contradiction, the desire begins its journey into manifestation. You don't need to push. You don't need to hustle. You only need to remain. Remain loyal to the end. Remain faithful to the unseen. Remain anchored in the knowing that what you feel now must be seen later. But beware, many will abandon the process when they are moments from their breakthrough. They will question. They will doubt. They will speak against their assumption. Do not be one of them. The test is always in persistence. The test is whether you will remain in the state even when appearances seem to deny it. Remember, appearances are not reality. They are reflections. And reflections only change when the source changes. So change the inner source. Persist in the state of "it is done" and refuse to accept anything less. If the world says, "but you don't have it," you smile and respond, not to them, but to yourself. "But I do. In here it is already mine." That kind of inner dialogue, that inner confidence, is what bends reality. It is not arrogance. It is faith. It is trust in the unseen. It is the recognition that you are more than flesh and blood. You are consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. Every time you return to that state of the wish fulfilled, you rewrite your destiny. Every time you close your eyes and feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace of already having, you lay another stone on the path of fulfillment. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is law. Immutable, unchangeable, divine law. The moment you accept that, you stop being a seeker and become a creator. You stop asking, "How do I get there?" and instead dwell in the assumption, "I am already there." And from that state, all things become possible. You will look back at your old life and wonder how you ever doubted. You will marvel at how simple it always was. The power was never outside of you. It was always within, waiting, watching, listening for the moment you would declare with feeling and conviction, "It is done." Once you do, all of heaven moves. So you no longer wake up to the day and ask, "What will happen today?" Instead, you rise and declare, "Today I align with what is already mine." There is a sacred difference between waiting and knowing. When you wait, you live in absence. When you know, you live in fulfillment. The secret line, "It is done," carries you across that threshold. It turns you from the person who hopes into the person who is, from seeker into finder, from desire into realization. Here is the astonishing truth. Life responds to you not based on what you want, but on what you are. You do not manifest what you think. You manifest what you feel to be true. So if you constantly desire but never assume the feeling of possession, you will remain in the state of desiring. Desire alone has no creative power unless it is fused with the feeling of fulfillment. It is not enough to want. You must become. This is where most fall short. They believe the desire itself is the cause of creation. But I tell you, the cause is not the longing. It is the assumption. You can desire wealth your entire life and never become wealthy. But the moment you feel wealthy, even while facts may still show otherwise, you have shifted your state. And that shift is everything. For the state you occupy determines the events you meet. So if you desire love, do not wait for love to appear. Become it. Feel it. Walk as if someone truly treasures you. Speak from the place of being loved. That feeling, if persisted in, will crystallize into a relationship that mirrors that inner state. If you desire health, do not talk about your symptoms endlessly. Withdraw inward and dwell in the state of radiant wellness. Feel what it would be like to move freely, to breathe easily, to live without pain, and do it now. This is how we change the outer, not by wrestling with it, but by replacing the inner. There is no need to manipulate or control the world. What a heavy burden that would be. Your only responsibility is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allow divine intelligence to orchestrate the details. It knows the path of least resistance. It knows the perfect timing, and it will lead you gently and unmistakably to the physical manifestation of your inner conviction. You may find yourself drawn to places you've never been, introduced to people you never expected, offered opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere. But make no mistake, you created the cause. The outer is merely the echo. The world is your mirror, and it cannot reflect anything but your state of being. So remain in the state of it is done. Return to it again and again until it becomes natural. At first it may feel like pretending, but that is only because the old self still lingers. Be patient. Be loyal to your new identity, and soon you will not need to remind yourself. It will simply be who you are, and the world will follow. This inner shift is the real work, not action, not struggle, but consciousness. A change of inner speech, a change of feeling, a change of perspective. The world you experience tomorrow is born in what you feel to be true today. So feel wisely, assume boldly, imagine richly. If ever you doubt, if ever the senses try to convince you that nothing is changing, go within, return to the silence, close your eyes, and once more declare, it is done. Say it with softness, say it with conviction. Say it until it becomes the song your soul sings day and night, and do not move from that place. Eventually something magnificent will occur. You will no longer need to say it. You will simply know it. You will feel so saturated in the state of fulfillment that to imagine yourself without the thing would feel strange, unnatural. That is the sign. That is when creation is complete. That is when manifestation becomes inevitable. It will come, slowly at first, then all at once. And when it does, you will understand why I have said again and again, assumption creates reality. You will laugh at how hard you used to try. You will weep with joy at how easy it truly was. And you will never again doubt the power of your own wonderful imagination. The world is clay in your hands. Shape it from within. Live in the end. Rest in the feeling. And let this line, this holy, creative, miraculous line, be etched upon your heart. It is done. And once you fully abide in that inner knowing, when you no longer measure your progress by appearances, when the need to get something fades because in your heart you have it, you begin to live in a different realm. You operate from a higher dimension of thought, where you realize all things already exist, and creation is simply selection. You're not making anything happen. You are choosing your reality by feeling it real, and sustaining that feeling until the world responds. This is not fantasy. This is law. You are not merely imagining for comfort. You are imagining for creation. Every scene you replay in your mind, every emotion you attach to it, every repetition of your internal dialogue, is forming the mold into which your physical world will pour itself. It is done. Is not the end. It is the cause. It is the spark that ignites the unseen forces to move and shape your surroundings in accordance with your assumption. Do you see the beauty in this? The ease? The elegance? There is no longer anything to fight for, because you realize that the battle was always inward. The struggle was never against conditions or circumstances or people. It was against your own disbelief. The moment you surrender your doubt, the moment you accept the wish as fulfilled, the war is over. There is peace. There is alignment. There is rest. That rest is not laziness. It is power. To be still in the conviction that your desire already exists is to wield the most potent creative force available to man. You no longer speak of the lack. You no longer identify with the absence. You simply live, breathe, walk, and think from the state where it is already so. That's when the miraculous becomes mundane. That's when synchronicities become natural. That's when manifestation becomes your way of life, not an isolated event. It is done. And because it is done, you do not beg. You do not plead. You do not taste. You give thanks. You move forward in gratitude, in confidence,
in stillness. You do not beg the sun to rise. You simply know that it will. And in the same way, when you have truly assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you know your manifestation must come. You may not know the path, but you know the destination is already secured. So keep your inner speech aligned. Let no idle word rise up against your assumption. Speak only from the end. Refuse to discuss or dwell on what you do not want. Let your inner world be a sanctuary for the fulfilled desire. Let every thought, every vision, every emotion be soaked in the reality of it is done. And when the world tempts you to waver, to look outside for evidence, gently return inward and feel the truth again. You see, your desire isn't somewhere far off. It's already here, waiting to be claimed. But it can only be experienced by the one who matches its vibration. That vibration is the feeling of fulfillment. And that feeling is awakened by one sacred decision to believe that your assumption is reality, and to persist in that belief regardless of what appears. The universe rearranges itself to match your self-concept. And every time you say it is done, you reinforce a new concept of self. A self who has, not one who lacks. A self who lives in the answer, not the question. A self who no longer seeks miracles, but expects them, because they are simply the natural outpicturing of the inner state. Remain faithful to the unseen. Let the dream soak into your bones, until it is more real than the world outside. Let the imagined become your dwelling place. And when it feels natural, when you no longer strive to make it happen, because it already feels part of your identity, then you are ready to receive. Receive you shall, quietly, effortlessly, perfectly, because you didn't hope it would come. You didn't wish it would happen. You didn't try it might work. You knew, you felt, you became, and so it appeared. When it appears, you will realize something even more profound than the manifestation itself. You will realize that the outer world no longer holds power over you. You will look upon your creation not with surprise, but with familiarity, as if greeting an old friend. For you had already walked with it in imagination. You had already lived it in silence. You had already experienced the joy, the gratitude, the relief, not when the world gave it to you, but when you first claimed it as yours within. That is the greatest gift of all. Not merely getting what you want, but becoming someone who knows their power, someone who no longer doubts, who no longer hesitates, who no longer vacillates between fear and hope, but stands firm in the knowing, I am the operant power. I am the creator of my reality. What I assume I become. What I feel is real, hardens into fact. What I claim with feeling and persist in believing, must appear in my world. You are no longer a servant to conditions. You are their master. You are no longer the victim of chance. You are the author of causation. The events of your life are not random. They are the perfect reflection of your inner state. And when you truly understand this, when it moves from concept to knowing, you will never again be afraid, because you will have found the secret, the golden key, the master sentence. It is done. You will not just say it. You will live it. You will breathe it. You will wake up in the morning feeling its reality, and go to sleep wrapped in its certainty. You will no longer wonder if your desire will come. You will wonder how you ever believed it wouldn't. Everything changes from this place. You begin to manifest not just things, but peace, freedom, clarity, joy. You begin to rise above reaction and into response. You begin to take responsibility for your every experience, not with guilt, but with empowerment. You stop blaming and start choosing. You stop seeking and start selecting. And each time you select something in imagination and feel it real, you engage the eternal principle that governs all creation. You will find that what once seemed miraculous is now expected, that what once felt distant is now immediate, that what once took years to achieve now flows to you with speed and ease. Why? Because the old you, the one who needed proof, the one who waited, doubted and hoped, has dissolved. In its place stands a new self, reborn in assumption, living from fulfillment, breathing the sacred truth that all things are already yours. The kingdom of heaven is not in some far-off place. It is within you. And when you enter that kingdom, when you dwell there consistently in thought and feeling, the world must obey. It must reflect. It must conform. Not because you forced it, but because you finally understood creation is finished. and all that remains is for you to choose the state, dwell in it, and allow the scene to unfold. So let that be your way now. Let it is done. Be the inner tone of your life. Let it be the thread that runs through every desire, every goal, every vision. And watch, just watch, how your world begins to bow before your assumption, not by magic, but by law. So now I leave you with this truth etched deep into your consciousness. Your reality bends not to force, not to time, not to luck, but to assumption. And the most powerful assumption you will ever make is this: it is done. Speak it not as a wish, but as a decree. Feel it not as a dream, but as your present fact. Let it soak into your bones, into your breath, into your identity, until it becomes the ground you walk on. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are being. The moment you decide to live from the end, the moment you dare to feel that your desire is already fulfilled, that is the moment you reclaim your divine power. You become the author, the artist, the creator. And from that place miracles are no longer surprises. They are the natural outcomes of one who knows. It is done. Now watch as the world rearranges itself to prove you right.